Welcome to The Project. We are live from the lands of the Kulin Nation.
It is Monday night and Steve Price is with us.
Every Monday night.
Every Monday. It wouldn't be Monday without you, Pricey.
Great to have you here. We begin tonight, of course, we begin tonight with some big news
Yes,
about
we do.
the show.
Fantastic. Uh-oh.
What's that for?
Oh, I think I got the tone wrong. Was that... Oh, it's not... All right, OK, well, what am I going to do with this one? Cost me $19.
You really missed that meeting. That was a shame. No, we are here to announce... Are you right there?
I'm all right.
Typical project style.
They should take us off air.
After 16 years and nearly 4,500 episodes, the project will very soon be no more. It's a huge moment for everybody.
You know what? My first appearance on this show was as a Dave Hughes funny. I fell over during a media scrum outside court, but I am so grateful that I got to sit on this desk and play TV with all of you. It's been such a fun thing to do, but you know, it's the people who make a show, and the project isn't just the people on this desk. It's the cast and crew behind the scenes. They are the real stars. I'm talking, you know, the producers, the editors, the cameramen and women, the comedy writers, the floor crew, the people in the control room, the director, the hair and makeup team, all of them who work their guts out every single night, 6 nights a week to get us here.
It's truly amazing what everyone does.
We don't just mean now, people who've worked on this show over 16 years is an incredibly long period of time for a TV show. It's a huge success to pull that off. And so many people have contributed to that. They all do a fantastic job. For example, Kim is operating camera 3 right now, and look, it's a great shot. She's doing a wonderful job. This is the way things work. A huge shout out to our viewers, though, as well. This isn't goodbye. We'll see you again a little bit more over the next few weeks. But I know, and everyone who's worked on this show knows, that these are the best viewers in Australia. They respond to a call like nothing else. And it's been, frankly, a privilege to serve you. So thanks for having us.
A number of times, this is the best crew of people that I've ever worked with. I was 55 when I started here. I'm now 70. So that's 15 years. How an old fat white guy like me can survive that long, I've got no idea, but I'm still here, and I'm really sad today. Melbourne's lost an incredible investment in its culture in Melbourne with the people who work on this show. People who come out here with music bands and have written books and who are actors, they're going to lose the opportunity to be able to talk about their products. Won't be able to be done anywhere else. And you know, I'll miss it. I don't know what I'll do on Monday nights.
No,
I'll
we'll
pop
miss
round,
you
mate. You gave me that key, didn't you?
I was going to say, most of the comedians have been great.
Well, things change, but they also stay the same. Thanks, Pricey.
Just the final piece of housekeeping. So our last show will be on June the 27th. We're with you all the way up till then, and we're going to have a real crack, I think.
I'm going to go out with a bang. Yep. All right.
Definitely.
It's time
Wait, should I?
We did, even bigger than that one. No. Yeah, we'll do that after.
This is Sam auditioning for his next job.
I told you that in private.
It's time now to see what else is making news. And former Prime Minister Scott Morrison, film director Baz Luhrmann and costume designer Catherine Martin lead this year's list of King's Birthday honours. They're among 14 Aussies to be made a Companion of the Order of Australia. All up, 830 Aussies were recognised today for their contribution to our society. Sports administrator and former project host Nicole Livingstone and model turned skin cancer advocate Deborah Hutton are also among them.
So it came out of nowhere. I would never have expected anything. If I could do my little part and wave a flag and say, get your skin checked, then that's what I can do.
2 hikers who have been caught in a snowstorm in Mount Hotham in Victoria's high country have tonight been rescued. Mountain teams have also rescued 13 people who got stuck in their cars overnight because of heavy snowfall. The icy snow blast has also lashed parts of New South Wales, where 2 bushwalkers were rescued after getting stranded in blizzard conditions in Kosciuszko National Park.
Well, it's the one day on the footy calendar to celebrate the cold, with some of Australia's biggest names taking the plunge to raise funds to fight MND. They've donned their best fancy dress to slide into freezing cold water at the MCG in front of thousands of fans. Cadell Evans, Ariane Titmus, Peter Dacos and Alyssa Healy among those who dropped themselves into the icy depths.
3, 2, 1, away she goes, Sharon, down the slide and in, and hopefully the rash will be gone.
And we caught up with Aussie cricket captain Alyssa Healy a little earlier.
Congratulations on doing it. How's the core temperature?
You know what? I thought I was genuinely okay. I had a shower. I thought I was fine. And then I sat outside, watched 10 minutes of the footy, and I was like, I'm actually freezing. I think I'm cold to the bone. So, yeah, definitely not the time of year to be doing that.
Alyssa, how much thought goes into who you dress up as? For example, if I did it, I would dress up as someone employed, probably. That would be what I would go for. But you went as Sharon from Kath and Kim, iconic. The patch rash has gone. Yep. Did you use some creams? How did you do it?
It's amazing what antibiotics can do really quickly. I was racking my brain. You know, there's some amazing sporting legends floating around that I thought would be really cool. You know, the other two amazing females that were part of the slide went as really sexy characters, and I chose Sharon Strzelecki. So go figure. Might be a personality thing, but it was by chance, I suppose. And then obviously saw the news about Magda come out a couple of weeks after I'd decided. So it was kind of a nice tie-in, and a big shout out to her.
Oh, there were some pretty tough athletes joining you. Who was the biggest sook when it came to the cold?
Oh, to be honest with you, no one really sooked at any point, but I will say that Matt Shervington has missed a calling in acting because he was in character the whole day, practising out the back with his hammer. So everyone braved it. I thought it was good, but yeah, I saw Mark Taylor in his white underwear afterwards, and I can never unsay that.
Listen, do you have to be an athlete to do it? Because Pricey wants to get icy next year.
You've got to do it.
No.
Price on ice.
Get in there. You don't have to be an athlete. I don't think that's the go. I think you just got to be important, maybe.
Mate, we can just dunk you in an ice bath here if you want. You don't have to wait for...
Have our own ice bath the next couple of weeks.
Amazing. Well, so we should point out this is the Big Freezer's 11th year running. It's an extraordinary effort from an extraordinary man, Neil Danaher, of course. How would you describe Neil and what he's done?
Inspiring, I think, is probably the word that I'd use. There's no real secret as to why he was Australian of the Year. I think some of the work that him and his family are doing in this area is incredibly important, first and foremost, but also really inspiring the community, and the fact that 11 years on, this has grown to be such an amazing event, but also the donations keep rolling in. I think it's amazing. So inspiring is definitely the word that comes to mind.
Alyssa, I lost a really dear friend to MND in a very quick amount of time. Neil's been there for 11 years. There's talk today, and I reckon this is fantastic, about building a statue outside the MCG for Neil Danaher. He played, he coached, and now he's raised tens of millions of dollars. What do you think?
Oh, I think, why not? I mean, we have conversations about everybody else that's played, you know, iconic moments here at this ground, but I think the impact that he's had, you know, in footy whilst playing, whilst coaching, and now, you know, finishing up and doing what he's doing through the MND space, I think, you know, it's undeniable that he should be right up there with someone out here doing something really cool that's, you know, immortalised.
Well, it's a big cause, and you've played your part. So thank you very much for doing so, and we'll let you go and then warm up. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, thank you.
Oh, good on him. Great day on the footy calendar every year. I also want to hear more about Shervo and his big hammer. I don't know, that really caught me off guard. Anyway, guys, the cold weather, we saw it before, it's hit the East Coast, and it is good news if you like skiing. The snow season has started a bit early, and I love it because you get to see fellas like this, the raddest dad of all time on the mountain, just enjoying the cool winter wonderland.
Yeah, I've just come in from a great ski. There's fresh snow everywhere, and the powder's awesome. You!
Hell yeah, brother. Skiing, that's a good idea. I've got a bit of free time coming up in early July. Thanks for the tips.
All right, after a break, we'll see you soon.
Welcome back. This is The Project.
Well, the US is on the brink as protests in LA intensify. Tensions are escalating in the US as the National Guard and police confront protesters on the streets of Los Angeles. They've used tear gas and non-lethal pellets to force the protesters back after they blocked roads and set vehicles on fire during a third day of demonstrations against immigration raids. LA's mayor blames the president.
And what we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration.
California's governor has urged Donald Trump to revoke the troop deployment, which has been described as an alarming abuse of power. But the president defended the decision, saying the troops will make sure there's law and order.
You have violent people, and we're not going to let them get away with it.
In other news, she already has an Emmy for Succession now. Aussie actress Sarah Snook is the toast of Broadway. She's won a Tony Award for Best Leading Actress for her one-person show, The Picture of Dorian Gray. This was her Broadway debut. The Picture of Dorian Gray was nominated in 6 categories.
Thank you so much for this. This means so much for a little Australian girl to be here on Broadway.
Oh.
And what is the right age to take your kids on a road trip? Recent survey found almost 50% of parents agree 3.5 is the worst age because of boredom or tantrums. 6 was deemed to be the easiest age. 55% of parents also admit they've deliberately avoided travelling with their child at certain ages. 7 hours was flagged as the max trip length with a child under 13.
Probably depends what sort of car you got, really.
And also what sort of chauffeur you have. Taking you.
And what his conversation skills are like.
My girls were fantastic. They loved road trips. So I don't have a problem with that. But I can imagine there would be some children that would be complete and utter nightmares on a 2-hour trip
Why are you
down the
looking
road.
at
Yeah,
Sam?
why are you looking at Do you know when I was growing up, my dad, Tony Taunton, shout out, I'm sure he's watching tonight, he would pick up hitchhikers, which was crazy. Like, I'd be 8.
What's wrong with that?
And there'd be a guy like that, and this guy gets in the car, and my dad would be like, Sam, talk to Kevin. And they'd be like, show some respect. I'm like, he's walking to Brisbane right now. Like, give me a break. It would be the weirdest experience of all time.
So your dad was Ivan Milat?
Yeah. I haven't seen... Shout out to Ivan.
It's going to be a long 3 weeks.
All right, guys, with news of the project finishing up, it didn't take long for the word to get out there. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are upset, rightly so, but no one took it as hard as South Australian opposition leader Vincent Tarzia.
Prime edition. 10X is the project.
Yep.
Where?
Is that out already, is it?
Just came out.
Yeah, right.
Stay strong, brother. You'll be right. I know, it's how we're all feeling. We had to cut it short early because, unfortunately, it kept going, and this is how he reacted.
You?
Yeah, I mean, it swings in roundabouts, you know.
Wow, you are watching the project. Back after this. Well, the Israeli military has prevented a boat carrying Greta Thunberg and other activists from landing in Gaza. Dubbed the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, the group had aimed to deliver aid and raise awareness about the humanitarian crisis in the Strip. The IDF has handed out bread and water to those on board, tweeting the, quote, selfie yacht of the celebrities is safely making its way to the shores of Israel. And British-Australian Dr Mohammed Mustafa was on that boat with Greta before it set sail, and he joins us now. Doctor, have you heard from those who were on the boat?
So I was actually speaking to Tiago, who's one of the captains of the ship, a couple of hours before they were boarded. This is actually his. He gave it to me in Italy, so I just thought I'd wear it because at the minute right now, we've got no contact with them. We don't know where they are, and we don't know what's happened to them.
Well, the Israelis have had a naval blockade there for some time.
Yep.
I mean, the yacht itself was never going to be able to make land.
Yes.
What was the point of the exercise in that case?
Well, I mean, you know, there are 1 million children right now in Gaza that are starving to death. And those on the boat have not been trying since this particular conflict. They've been trying for the last 15 years to get into Gaza and to break the illegal siege. You know,
but was it more than a stunt?
Well, it's not a stunt when people have died doing this before, you know. It's not a stunt when they bombed the boats, the last Freedom Flotilla 3 weeks ago. So it's not a stunt. I was there, you know, on the boat with Greta and the team. And, you know, they were in tears before they departed because they were all scared. I saw their families hug them as they were getting onto the boat because they genuinely thought that they might die. And it's a possibility because people have died trying to do this before.
Did they genuinely think they'd get there?
You know, Tiago was calling me and he was speaking to me and he was telling me, when we get there, who should we give the aid to? Do you know where should we go? Which hospitals need the most aid? And he was coordinating with me which hospitals need the baby formula. So, listen, they wouldn't do this if they didn't believe that they could do it. And that's why they did it. It's not just symbolic for them. It's real.
So do you have any idea of where they are now?
So, unfortunately, once, those images that you saw of them being taken, nobody knows. I mean, I'm in contact with the Freedom Flotilla team. They haven't received any word of where they are. Nobody knows where they've gone to, and nobody knows about their condition or their safety.
You mentioned that they were coordinating with you about which hospitals to send things to. Yeah. Many people would know, were in Gaza working as a doctor for a period of time. Yeah. You've seen firsthand what it's like there, what's been going on, and I understand you've come back with this aim and this quest really to build a new hospital in Gaza. I mean, it sounds like an extraordinary undertaking.
Yeah. I mean, look, when I was there in Gaza and we'd have these mass casualty events and you would have women bringing in carrier bags of their children, what remains of their children. We would have children lying on the floor bleeding to death. There wasn't even dignity in those people dying. And, for me, I saw that these people have lost everything. And I said to myself, well, I need to come back here to Australia and we need to do something to make a change. And one of those changes is to get a hospital there. I'm a doctor, I'm not a politician. And what I can do is I can do something with regards to healthcare, and that's to be able to save those children by providing a hospital. And, I've been traveling around the world to get this done. I was in Jordan last week after I left Italy, and I spoke to Jordanian diplomats. I've spoken with the Australian ambassador. We're trying to establish diplomatic connections. I'm sure you can see the images in the background, but the hospital that we're going to be building is caravans that can be assembled in Jordan, brought into Gaza, assembled like a jigsaw puzzle. And it's self-sufficient. It has its ability to make oxygen as well, so it can make its own oxygen cylinders. In Gaza, they can produce the sewerage system and the water works, so it will be self-sufficient from a water standpoint, electricity, oxygen-making capabilities. It'll have state-of-the-art theatres. It'll have inpatient units, intensive care units, and it'll be a secure, safe facility. And what I want the Australian government to be involved to make sure it's safe, because, we've lost Australian aid workers out there in Gaza, including Zomi, and there hasn't been any justice for her for over a year. So, I want to help those people in Gaza, but I want to make sure that the Australians that do go there and help are safe.
All right, well, Dr. Mohammed Mustafa, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
All the best. Thank you. All right, listen to Project Season.
This is the project. Welcome back.
Guys, let's go to the Gold Coast now, right? Ken, we're chatting at the beach to some young people there about the weather, and you don't often see interviews just wrapped into such a perfectly little package like this.
What was it like in the water? Well, the water was pretty hot. It was a bit pretty cold, but it was pretty good. So I'd say the word of the day is pretty.
I mean, I think the thing I'll miss the most is people from the Gold Coast on this show.
And the Mayor.
And the Mayor. Oh, God, what a guy Tom Tate is.
Well, from an ex-Prime Minister to an Olympic legend, Hollywood heavyweight and the biggest Oscar winner in the country, the King's Day honours have been announced today. It's an all-singing, all-dancing lineup with just a little bit of controversy. Responsible for some of the most OTT films of our time, power couple Baz Luhrmann and Catherine Martin today took home top honours with his and hers Companion of the Order of Australia Awards. The director and costume designer recognised for championing emerging talent, invigorating Australia's cultural heritage and putting us on the Hollywood map. Yay! Alongside them, a slightly more contentious choice.
Look, anyone who's the former PM of this country, I think it's a really, really tough job to do.
I think Scott Morrison should give it back and give it to someone who is more deserving, which is pretty much anyone else.
The 30th Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, recognised for his service to the nation during the COVID pandemic.
I'm very humbled by the recognition and thankful to the Australian people.
But the response has been mixed, a petition protesting ScoMo's selection racking up thousands of signatures.
I just don't think that he deserves that.
It's a lot of hours, a lot of work, a lot of effort, so yeah, good on him.
Olympic swim legend Nicole Livingstone, Rocky Horror Picture Show director Jim Sharman and media royalty Deb Hutton were also honoured, alongside hundreds of unsung Aussie heroes like Gary Allsop. At 28, Gary was left a quadriplegic on the footy ground. Gary lost his job, his house and his marriage. But 10 years later, Gary founded Spinal Cure Australia, and ever since has been advocating for people with disabilities.
You never know what's around the corner. I wasn't expecting this and wasn't part of my grand plan.
Today, Gary received a Medal of the Order of Australia for his unwavering commitment to change in the world of spinal cord injury.
And Gary Allsop, OAM, joins us now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much.
Oh, hey, Gary, we know you don't do this for the accolades, but what does this honour...
No, not at all.
What does this honour feel like? It's a big one.
Well, it is, and I mean, I don't do anything to receive awards, but it's nice to be recognised, and yeah, it's very much an honour to have your country see you in this way.
Gary, OAM, great to see you. You've been through a hell of a lot, mate. You became quadriplegic after a sporting accident, as we said. You lost your house, your job, your marriage. How does any human come back from that, manage to dedicate their life to advocacy?
Well, very much in baby steps. It takes you a little while to get over all that and pick yourself up a bit. And I guess I decided in life not to sit around feeling sorry for myself. The only way to get yourself up again is to get things that are going to be active for your mind and maybe help other people along the way. And that's the way I've chosen to live my life.
And it probably helps that it's a cause that is so close to your heart for obvious reasons. When you first suffered your injury, what sort of support was there for you?
Well, personal support, not a lot. We got a little bit of care, a couple of days a week. But my mum and dad, you know, I owe a lot of gratitude to them. They, you know, they took me in at home with no questions, and you know, they looked after me with the shortfall. And originally, there wasn't a lot of help, but to where we are now, my dad passed away about 10 years ago. My mum's in health, in aged care. Shout out to Joyce at Arcare. And she looked after me till a couple of years ago, along with carers. And now, due to the NDIS, I'm lucky enough to have 24/7 care. So I'm very grateful for that. And I've got a good crew of people that look after me and support me. And I've got 3 sisters, and they're very supportive. And, you know, life's not too bad.
Gee, your mum and your sisters must be pretty proud of you.
Yeah, they are. They, you know, we all get a bit emotional when we talking about this, but they know what I've been through, and I guess they probably don't know all the things I've done in the background, but they know a lot of it, and so yeah, they are immensely proud, as are some of the friends that have called me and a few politicians even, and yeah, it makes you feel good, and hopefully it makes what you're doing worthwhile, and such a pleasure to be involved in.
Now, mate, now you've been given this award, you've got this platform. When you speak, people are going to listen. What's next for you?
Yeah, well, I'll just keep spreading my word, and you know, where I can make the most influence for possible government contacts, corporate sponsors, get out there to even people, fellows in wheelies. You know, don't lose your life just because you've had a spinal injury. There are things beyond that. You've just got to look a little bit, explore your own hobbies and beliefs, and get out there and do it, because you only get one life, and you know, don't take it for granted, because you never know what can happen around the time. So live your life and make a difference. That's what I reckon.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Nice, yeah, you're an inspirational guy, Gary, and I'm sure there'll be so many people who will benefit hugely from hearing that message. They can form an orderly queue to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
It's people like Gary that make me proud to be an Aussie.
Yeah, and a great sort of person to celebrate on a day like this.
His mum needs a medal too. Barnaby Joyce said during the week, or during the awards today, that no one who earns a salary ought to get an AO. Well, I think that's a pretty silly thing to say. I mean, you've got medical experts, you've got a whole group of people. Politicians, I'm not sure. If you're ex-PM, should you get an AO?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I reckon there's 2 things about that. I don't like people who oppose this just because they don't like this particular Prime Minister or they don't like the politics of that. That's just a silly objection, I think. But I think there is a thing about, if you're the Prime Minister, you are recognised in so many other ways.
Yeah.
And you get perks for that, you get hung on walls for that.
Cars,
and maybe
officers,
it's a different
staff.
sort of it's just a different
I think
recognition.
the only PM who hasn't got an AO was Paul Keating, but I can't remember whether he said, I don't want it, or whether it wasn't offered.
Either is possible.
And he would have said it beautifully, whatever he said.
Yeah, for the best burns in Parliament. Now get ready for some serious sparkle. Our next guests are the undisputed King and Queen of the Ice.
They're the icons of the ice who revolutionised the sport.
They're the best-known skaters in the world and everyone wants to talk to them.
Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean captivated the world when they won gold at the Winter Olympics in 1984.
There might be a few changes. You'll just have to watch and see.
Their radical routine winning them an historic perfect score.
It's right across the board. That's it.
This is the highest point of our career so far. You've been given credit for having stretched the limits of the sport.
Now, after 50 years of ruling the rink, the duo is now hanging up their skates. Making one last trip down under.
All the Australian people, they're fabulous. They've just been over the top.
For their very last dance on ice.
Please welcome Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean.
Thank you.
So great to have both of you on the show. Welcome back to Australia. You're in Brisbane at the moment, getting ready for the start of the farewell tour. What does a Torvill and Dean farewell tour look like?
Well, it is a farewell tour, that's for sure. It's been, we've been skating together now for 50 years, and we feel that it's time that we hung up our skates. But whilst we can still do it in a manner that we feel good about, we wanted to be able to do it one last time. So it's sort of a really a farewell, a goodbye, but a celebration at the same time.
Wow, guys, are Australian crowds easy for your show? Because I feel like especially in Queensland where you guys are right now, if you just showed the people ice, they'd be like, whoa, we don't see that because it's so hot. So are they easier to impress?
I guess so. It's interesting that when we first turned professional, Australia was the first place that we came to. And I think maybe the Australian people found that unusual that ice skaters were coming to Australia, but we had such a great response at the time. And you do have ice rinks here, even in Brisbane.
In actual fact, where we are at the moment, in Boondall, where we're going to perform, we opened that 39 years ago.
Whoa. Wow. I've skated there.
Yep, the first act.
Of course you have. Christopher, you and Jane have
Ease up, Icy Pricey.
You and Jane have been skating longer than I've been on this show. Now, whose idea was it to retire?
I think when it's right. I think we both knew, and it's significant, as Chris said, it's 50 years since we've been skating together. And while we still can, we thought we'd finish on a performance and do one less show around, the show is really talking about our career. It's kind of our story on the ice. And also we've got some fantastic professional skaters with us who just make the show what it is too.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, guys, I want to go back into your history. Jade, in the early days, you were working in insurance. Chris, you were training to be a policeman. I don't know why I'm, bringing it up today of all days, but do you think your old job will be waiting for you after you retire?
I don't think they have old policemen anymore. People asked that wasn't it difficult doing the two jobs, and it was difficult because, I'd have shift work and we'd finish at 10 o'clock at night perhaps, and then we'd have to go to the rink for another 4 hours on top of that. Wow. And so I was on the beat on the streets and on the beat on the ice.
Wow.
It's a wonderful line. Yeah. Well done. Hey, I'm going to ask you a question. I need you to be honest. I don't want any obfuscation. I don't want any beating around the bush. I don't want any platitudes. No euphemisms, nothing. Who's the better skater?
I would say he is, and he would say I am.
Oh, that's no good.
Okay. I always correct Jane, but then she does an eye roll and she'll tell somebody else that I did it wrong. So we're a yin and a yang, to be honest.
Did you ever consider calling yourselves Dean and Torvill?
Yeah, good question.
How did you win that debate?
Yeah, it comes from back in the day when we were competing that they always announced the girl's name first.
Oh.
So that's how we... Yeah.
But it's like saying, do you have chips and fish?
Yeah, it's very true, very true. I mean, you guys have been skating together since you were teenagers. What are you most proud of?
You know, I think just that we're still doing it today. It's quite a mile. But obviously winning the Olympics changed our life. It opened us up to the world. And in fact, you know, like Jane said, we came down to Australia straight away as soon as we turned professional. I think it was Channel 9, that other channel, gave us a lot of coverage. And then as soon as we were advertised, you know, they were selling out around all the centres. And we came down for 2 weeks and ended up staying down for 3 months and then a further 9 months after that.
Wow.
So our Aussie accent really improved over the months.
Yes.
Hey, it's not just skating, though, that you excel in. Let's go back to 1989. You released an album of cover songs. This is not well enough known. It was called Here We Stand. How could anyone resist? I think it's probably on Spotify. Anyway, let's have a listen, shall we?
No.
Oh, please don't. Oh my goodness.
I love this. What a banger.
Did they cover Ice Ice Baby?
Yeah, I don't know. But I think you spoke too soon.
The ice.
I think you spoke too soon when you said the Olympics was the height of your career. I think that was clearly the moment.
I think we'll stick to the skating.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Hey, tickets to see Torvill and Dean on their farewell tour in Australia are on sale now. Details are on our website. Would you please thank Torvill and Dean?
Thank you.
More projects after this. Stick around.
Welcome back, watching The Project.
Well, Gerard Butler has been a staple on the big screen for decades, and Georgie Tunney sat down with the star to hear all about the role. He can't believe he gets to tackle all over again.
This is Sparta!
Gerard Butler is the lovable Scotsman who knows a thing or two about abs and action.
I am.
But for kids, no role tops the formidable Viking Stoick in How to Train Your Dragon 1, 2 and 3.
No matter how this ends, it ends today.
Now he's bringing Stoick to life for the saga's live-action reimagining.
The reign of the dragons, it's right here, right now!
Gerard Butler, hello from Australia. How are you?
I'm good, Georgie from Australia. How are you?
I am very, very well, and I'm very happy to be talking to you about this fantastic franchise. What does it mean to you to be back with a character that you've loved for so long and live action?
It's a great movie. It's fun. It's very hard to do press for a movie when you really don't love it. So when you have a movie that not only are you proud of, but you think it's a phenomenal film, then it makes it more enjoyable because one after the other, they go, oh, I love the movie, and that feels great.
At its heart, this is a story about a father and son. What do you think it is about that trope or that kind of storyline that resonates with so many people?
Family it's the most important thing too, is whether you're a son or father, not just father-son, but mother-daughter, mother-son. But there is something that I think that gets so pulled back when it comes to masculinity. And so when you see a man like Stoick, who has such power and is so masculine, and then you see him struggling with some of the basic facets, as in what does it mean to communicate with your son and be honest with him and feel like you're earning his respect. That's very, I think it brings up a lot in everybody, whether you've been a son, whether you're a father, you know, I think it just seems to hit you powerfully in the gut.
What does it bring up for you?
Well, I grew up without a dad, so he wasn't around. So for instance, when I look at Stoick's relationship, or rather Hiccup's relationship to Stoick, in so much as Stoick is now his mother and his father, so everything he's doing is to try and please essentially both his parents. And I feel like I had a lot of that when I was growing up, and I only had my mother. She was everything to me. So to try and do right in her eyes and impress her was everything. And when it wasn't going well, I felt like my world would fall apart, you know, that I would lose her love. That's one of the many reasons that it touches me so deeply. So, I mean, I could give you 10 different reasons, but I'm sure you want to talk about other things.
I mean, I actually could talk about this all day, Gerard, but I do have a really important question. What was harder to prepare for vocally? Was it this, Stoick, or Phantom of the Opera?
Phantom.
Okay. Yep.
Phantom. I mean, Phantom was a much more refined thing. I wasn't a singer. I love to sing, but I'm singing in front of Andrew Lloyd Webber. Jesus. Like. The Phantom of the Opera is there.
Do you remember his review?
Yes, I do. I'll never forget it. After I sang with him, he talked for almost an hour. And of course, I was so insecure because I'm thinking I'm singing Music of the Night in front of Andrew Lloyd Webber, and I'd only had one singing lesson in my life. So he talked in great depth about my voice and what it meant. Now, in actual fact, he was saying a lot of great stuff, and he was saying where it needed work. I just took it all as an insult. And I remember leaving with Joel saying, I was terrible, and he was like, are you kidding? Did you listen to what he said? So I guess just the fact that Andrew Lloyd Webber was talking in such length and, you know, and so involved that I should have seen that as a good sign. But I was just hearing, you know, terrible, 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 terrible.
Are you better at taking those kind of compliments now?
Yeah, I think I believe them more, but it also doesn't bother me. Like I say to people, look, tell me the truth. I don't care if it's bad. It's not going to help me, you telling me you think, not just me or the movie. I'm not going to learn anything by you just saying, oh, well done, amazing. By the way, talking about mother wanting to impress, that's where that comes from. That whole perfectionism thing is like, I gotta get it right from her. I don't want to make my mum sound like a dragon. She was the best woman ever. But for sure, when you are a child and to a single parent, and there's three of you, you know, you're like the chick vying for the most attention to be the best. And that leads to perfectionism, which helps you in your career, but maybe sometimes makes your life a little less satisfying. Yeah. It's like, relax, chill out, it's fine.
Well, how do you go then with fan feedback? Because you must get it a lot. I mean, your body of work is so extensive and it covers so many very different films, like something like P.S. I Love You, which means so much to so many people. How do you cope with that?
Oof. God, that's well, I'm struggling to answer that question. That's weird. Maybe sometimes it's hard to hear because you realize you have a big. I think as I get older, and I'm reminded, and people go, oh, I love Phantom, P.S. I Love You, or these different movies. You go, God, that is a lot of movies. But I would say about that movie in particular, everybody made it for the right reasons, with the essence and the heart of the story they were trying to tell. I remember saying to the director, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to worry about myself in this movie. I'm going to worry about Hillary and look after her. And I felt that was a similar attitude that so many of the crew, the director, the writer, the cast had on P.S. I Love You, which I think is why it's resonated for so long.
Well, Gerard Butler, for long may it continue. Thank you so much for the films and thank you for the chat.
Thank you so much. We'll say bye-bye like this.
That's how we do it. Bye-bye.
I'm not sure what this is all about, but
I loved it up like a daylily, didn't he? You can see How to Train Your Dragon in cinemas from Thursday.
All right, Ocean Project, back soon. Our next guest has wowed international audiences and now he's bringing the magic home to Aussie soil.
Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice!
It's showtime! Holy crap.
Would you please welcome Eddie Purvis? Now, I read
said that your natural state of being is utter laziness. But how can you be lazy when you've composed the music to this show and you're the lead?
I know. I think my, I don't know, my sense of... I love to create and I love to make things, and I have this urgent sense of, you know, I'm only here for a short amount of time, and I have to use the time I have and the opportunities I have to make work, and that just supersedes my laziness. But if I get a little window where I don't have to do anything, I would rather just be on the couch, I must
so
say.
good, the couch.
It's good, isn't it?
Oh, God, it's great.
So does it make it easier then to step into the role of Beetlejuice when you know the music so intimately?
No, it wasn't any help at all.
Oh.
No, I mean, I was familiar with the music, but...
Familiar with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You wrote it.
I did write it, but I kind of tailored the suit onto Alex Brightman, the original Broadway Beetlejuice, who's an extraordinary comedian and singer. And I very much wrote it like a person who never thought they would perform it, because there's nowhere to breathe and no one wants to hear you complain because it's my fault.
Yeah, how long did it take to get into it before the show? Like, is it hours are we looking at?
It's an hour of makeup and costume, but it's an hour before that I have to start warming up. Everything sort of takes a long time to
Are you looking for an understudy, by the way? Because I'm in the market for a bit of work.
I've heard, and of course, I'm like every other Australian. I heard today the news, and I know I'm not really supposed to talk about this, but I wanted to say, because I'm here, that the project has been the most extraordinary supporter, not just of me and my work. I was thinking about my ride with Beetlejuice. I remember being in New York City, living in New York City as an Australian, not really knowing anyone and being quite lonely. And the project contacted me and found a little downtown TV studio at 4 a.m. in the morning and made sure that I could get there and go on air and talk to Australia about what was happening. Yeah. It's been such a continual source of support for me, but not just me, but all of the live performing arts in this country.
Totally.
Music, musical theatre. It's a place where we could come and talk about what's going on, and it's been a cultural centre. And obviously I'm biased because I love this show and I've been on this show and I watch this show, but it's going to be a very big hole in the conversation about live art.
4 a.m. interview, you looked half asleep.
So
he did.
After all those years, he hasn't changed. Not much has changed. Hey, bringing Beetlejuice home. So, congratulations on the whole thing. I was at opening night, and it was extraordinary. And your performance, unbelievable, and so many other great performances. But the thing that was amazing was sitting in this room with all these other people who are themselves veterans of the stage or the screen or whatever, watching you. And I was just, what's it like for you? Is this the best audience because they know what you, like they're with you, or is it the worst? It's peers. It's the hardest audience. I couldn't figure out how you felt.
The pressure of it was something like I've never experienced in my life, because it's an enormous opportunity, and I'm so grateful for it because I know the feeling of not having a score to write. I know the feeling of not having a role to perform and feeling like you've got something to offer and there's nowhere to put it. So when you get given the opportunity to perform a musical that I had written over in New York and perform it for my hometown, of course it's enormous pressure, but I really wanted to rise to it. And on the night of opening night, I was sort of suspiciously calm. I haven't told anyone this, but after the show, I got back into my dressing room and I just lay on the floor of my dressing room and I just burst into tears. It was like a big adrenaline dump of it felt like just climbing a massive mountain, and I was like, I cannot believe I did that. I was so worried that I was going to screw it up. And so getting through opening night was great. And now it's a lot of fun.
You know, I do the same after every episode of this as well. That's crazy we have that in common.
I'm an emotional person, and that feeling where you just kind of have to let it out. And it was a lot of, stored emotion, Beetlejuice. It's been a part of my life for almost a decade, and my story's in it, my wife's story's in it. I took my family to New York to chase this dream of writing for Broadway. To bring it home to Australia and to have Australians perform it and to have Australian audiences come and see it, it's such a gift. It's such a gift to do.
We love your passion. That's what we love about you.
Well, I love, like I said, I love having the opportunity to create and write, and it's great. It's a great thing to go. Like, Australians can do this. We can make works of musical theatre, and hopefully more of it happens.
I'll tell you what, if you ever take Shane Warne the musical to New York, we will bring back the project. That would be amazing. Hey, Beetlejuice is in Melbourne until the 31st of August. Ticket details are on our website. Would you please thank Eddie Perfect?
And that's it for us for tonight. Thank you, Pricey.
Thank you.
We'll catch you tomorrow at 6:30 for more projects. See you then. Bye.